What would be an example of a medical miracle?
For example, one of the probably strongest, we held 5 cases of thyroid condition. So first was mine. I'm having a very exciting story. PhD endocrinologist, PhD. I've been prescribed some thyroid drugs, thyroid hormones, as people usually are prescribed to, like, you taking that daily for all your life until you die. So, and I started to use my method, and I started to work with my throat tension and this thing that affects your hormones and affects your brain chemistry. Actually, that's the difference between voice biohacking and voice coaching. And I've been doing blood tests like once in 2, 3 months, then once per like 6 months. And she was around. She, like, when she seen what's going on, she was kind of guiding me through this. So she prescribed me that, and she helped me to get out of that. What does she do now? She's singing in the venue. She's around 50 years old now. She was 47 when she actually started to sing. So like several years passed. So she found me, she started to sing. Now she's singing jazz on the venue with jazz band, and she's still PhD in endocrinology. So that's the reason. And 4 more cases with all the blood tests, and also thyroid tumor, which decreased 4 times. And like doctors were like, really? Probably it was mistake somewhere. So it's kind of probably takes time to do research. We are getting ready to our own studies about that. So many conditions like digestion conditions, like depression and hard depression cases, and especially now due to geopolitical situation, people go through some hardship and in different countries, and mostly since I'm working with high achieving people or like executives, C-level executives, they're all like burned out or stressed because all the economy situation is, and people kind of sacrifice their like emotional state and everything. They cannot do what they want to do. They cannot relax, cannot take time for that because they have lots of responsibilities. And so chronic condition, any of that, is kind of the final result of like long struggle whenever you cannot relax and cannot switch to parasympathetic mode. And vagus nerve is responsible for that. In our singing, it's proven by science, backed by science, singing and chanting, even humming, is stimulating our vagus nerve. Even we have Forbes article about that. So that's the reason. So people mostly attend those sessions for medical reasons and mental health reasons, to avoid medical conditions, health conditions, and mental health conditions. So they like support their income, they support their revenue of their company in relationship with their family and with themselves.
Hello and welcome to Get Yourself Optimized. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer. It is my pleasure to have Juliana Andreeva with us. Juliana is a voice biohacker. She's also a musician, singer, voice and speech coach, and recording producer. Born into a family of musicians, Juliana's mother was a famous opera singer. As a child, Juliana was pushed to study music by her parents. She had multiple musical degrees, studying as a musical conductor, opera director, and orchestral choir conductor. Yet through those years of studies, Juliana still couldn't manage her voice. She couldn't sing and hated playing piano. Her mother would always say, Juliana, you're singing the wrong way. She began to search for a new method that would help her singing capabilities. After working with 26 voice coaches over the years, she didn't get the results she was after, but she then, after extensive research, discovered combining that neurology, kinesiology, osteopathy, and psychology, she got the answers. She created her own method backed by medical research, and this would help people who had no voice training develop their skills in a short period of time. She now has her own voice studio. She has created 70 educational programs, works with CEOs, celebrities, bloggers, and professional singers, and she has songs that can be heard on Spotify. She's just finished her first book. She's educated 10 voice coaches on her method and created an online academy. Juliana, it's so great to have you on the show.
Hey, Stephan. Nice to meet you here, and nice to meet all of you guys here. So nice to have some space to share with you all those.
Yeah. Well, it was great to meet you at the Biohacking Congress, which is how we first met. And I get this intuitive nudge to invite different people that I meet onto my show. And you were one that I got the nudge. So I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing that, all you do.
Yeah. So let's first of all explain how voice biohacking is different from just getting a voice coach. Like what's a voice coach going to teach you versus a voice biohacker?
Oh, yeah, there's a huge difference. First of all, it didn't help. I couldn't help myself with that. So, voice coaching didn't help me. I thought I was sure I have no singing voice, but that was the beginning. Singing voice now is a kind of side effect. That's the main difference. So, voice coaching provides you some exercises. So, you kind of bind exercises and you're trying to optimize your voice, and the goal is different. The goal of voice coaching is definitely to have a nice voice, beautiful voice, singing, probably performing, probably singing on a venue or releasing songs on Spotify, some voice production or music videos, social media, or some kind of stuff. So it's kind of some professional direction or hobby or whatever, but it's still kind of art. And my definition of singing in terms of voice biohacking, the singing is not the art. The singing and any sound of like chanting is a physiological need of our body. It's got a physiological need to express deep emotions. So it's like an orgasming body needs to have some close person around, to have some kind of chemical process, loving somebody, like keep connected and relaxing around some person. And it's also a physiological need and psychological need. So to chant, to have some sounds in the body to express your deep emotions is a physiological need, and you can guys probably recognize yourself. So I discovered that through my practice. I'm practicing for more than 15 years for now, only this thing. I started as a voice coach, and I realized that people actually sincerely do not really care if they release songs on Spotify or perform as an artist. They are not ready to fight with social media, show business, and like all that industry. They just want to make sounds in terms to express emotions. So I thought probably I should give people like what they're coming for, and that really clicked. And we tapped to some medical miracles there.
What would be an example of a medical miracle?
For example, one of the probably strongest, we held 5 cases of thyroid condition. So first was mine. I'm having a very exciting story. PhD endocrinologist, PhD. I've been prescribed some thyroid drugs, thyroid hormones, as people usually are prescribed to, like you taking that daily for all your life until you die. So, and I started to use my method, and I started to work with my throat tension and this thing that affects your hormones and affects your brain chemistry. Actually, that's the difference between voice biohacking and voice coaching. And I've been doing blood tests like once in 2, 3 months, then once per like 6 months. And she was around. She like when she's seen what's going on, she was kind of guiding me through this. So she prescribed me that, and she helped me to get out of that. What does she do now? She's singing in the venue. She's around 50 years old now. She was 47 when she actually started to sing. So like several years passed. So she found me, she started to sing. Now she's singing jazz on the venue with jazz band, and she's still a PhD in endocrinology. So that's the reason. And four more cases with all the blood tests, and also thyroid tumor, which decreased 4 times. And like doctors were like, really? Probably it was mistake somewhere. So it's kind of probably takes time to do research. We are getting ready to our own studies about that. So many conditions like digestion conditions, like depression and hard depression cases, and especially now due to geopolitical situation, people go through some hardship, and in different countries, and mostly since I'm working with high achieving people or like executives, C-level executives, they're all like burned out or stressed because all the economy situation is, and people kind of sacrifice their like emotional state and everything. They cannot do what they want to do. They cannot relax, cannot take time for that because they have lots of responsibilities. And so chronic condition, any of that, is kind of the final result of like long struggle whenever you cannot relax and cannot switch to parasympathetic mode. And vagus nerve is responsible for that. In our singing, it's proven by science, backed by science, singing and chanting, even humming, is stimulating our vagus nerve. Even we have Forbes article about that. So that's the reason. So people mostly attend those sessions for medical reasons and mental health reasons, to avoid medical conditions, health conditions, and mental health conditions. So they like support their income, they support their revenue of their company in relationship with their family and with themselves.
Wow. So you're saying that by doing these voice exercises, if someone has a thyroid condition and they get blood tests that show that the hormone levels, the various thyroid hormone levels are off, they can do these exercises, vocal exercises, and change the uh, thyroid and improve their blood test, the blood markers. Is that right?
Yeah, in a huge amount of cases, or improve or even fix it completely. I have like best blood test ever right now. I'm having that right now, so I'm just checking that because I'm responsible for what I do. Sometimes it's like very critical condition. Of course, you cannot rely on psychosomatic work, which is offered here. But I think, and I believe that what the PhD told, like 70% of cases, the reason is our mental health, our stress. And stress is like it's entangled with hormones and with our brain chemistry. It's not just abstract thing. It's the hardship our body goes through. It's certain levels of different hormones, and not only hormones. It's like complicated thing about brain chemistry, and our brain chemistry affects our intestine chemistry. It affects immune system. So everything is connected and synchronized in our body, and only we are responsible. So like not in like 100% cases, but 70. It's a huge amount. 70% of cases of different conditions in digestion as well, because the vagus nerve is connected with digestion system so much. You're able to improve or to completely heal those conditions. We've seen that for many years. So first, for me, it was surprising at first, like at the first moment. But mostly people come to get some energy. And whenever you switch your switch your mood, switch your how you perceive the reality, lots of different other things. Also, skin problems. They all synchronize with our like mental health condition, and it's proven, and everybody knows that. So it's exactly so like a specific type of medical, like there's a medical direction or German medical thing. They say that whenever you have specific conditions in your body, it's a final result. It's just a result, you just can't wait. Because everything which was really going on was going on before. And when the body cannot digest it, cannot fight it, it pops out on your skin and your digestion and whatever. So what we're talking about psychosomatic things. So if you're having some really sharp health condition, of course you cannot heal if you broke your leg or like whatever. So also think about that.
If someone's, let's say, skeptical about the evidence of curing or healing a thyroid condition or uh, whatever else that someone is dealing with through vocal exercises, do you have any kind of peer-reviewed academic journal articles or research studies or anything that you can point to? Not necessarily that you've done, but that somebody's done that can substantiate that this is not just placebo effect.
There's very fine line between placebo and result and what we feel because it's all entangled here. So sometimes we can increase our depression so much that it becomes real. It's like all that people try to meditate actually because they are skeptical, but meditation is kind of proven right now. But the problem of meditation is it's hard to sit and meditate. People usually like, okay, they sit, they even put some music on or guided meditation, but they still think. And they cannot actually stop thinking. And the thing about, I will get back to medical studies, but the thing about meditation, you try not to slow down the waves of your mind, brain waves. So from beta waves, you're trying to slow down to alpha mode, alpha waves. Like it's more complicated than I described. It's like 4 types of them, even more. So, but technically, but people are listening to music even when they drive the car or like in the morning or something. Like anytime they have an opportunity, they kind of, everybody's singing when they're kids. So what the singing actually is, it's whenever you're singing, you're slowing down your thoughts mechanically. For example, I'm speaking in certain speed. But when I'm singing, stars shining bright above you, I am speaking, I'm extending my words. So let's think that's your thoughts. Yeah. You're doing like this. So mechanically, when you're chanting or singing, you are like extending, like expanding your like thought substance. Like it's very interesting. So it's like even though thought is needed, you can't slow down your brain because words are secondary in any song. All the kids know how to sing. Kids are super good in singing, right? Because they're easily slowing down their brain. Adults, I'm working mostly with like guys who conduct companies or whatever. So it's tricky for them. So probably the key is in our tomography and brain waves. But about studies, lots of studies about the vagus nerve. Not lots of people know about that. So the vagus nerve or wandering nerve, I'm not a medical person. I just started to study after all my musical educations because I couldn't get what I want from musical education. So I've been thirsty. I wanted to experience certain feeling while singing, not just technique. I didn't want to study technique. I tried to. So you kind of, if you want to conquer the world, you probably should get education in university or school, right? But it's not the school you really want. You want something beyond that, like to conquer the world or help people or to change the world. That's why you go and study, and then you like trying to materialize your pursuit, right? So my dream about singing was, as for many people, is it's not the singing itself, not the technique, is experiencing of something that is bigger than you, that flows through you and your feelings, which are expressed, and you can share that with others. So why not just giving people that feeling? And about studies, lots of studies about the vagus nerve. I'm getting ready with my own studies. We are raising some like really small funds to share results, because it's really useful for many people for PTSD, ADD, ADHD. So whenever people need to correct some mental health thing or trauma, and any trauma leaves traces in our body, mechanical, physical traces. Any psychological condition leaves physical traces, even if you're an executive, let's say. It's not in childhood. Trauma is not in childhood. You're an executive and you burned out yesterday. You've been like done. And you're like, oh my God, I cannot do it. What should I do? And I'm trying to sleep, and you have problems with sleep, which we'll also cure here. And you're like, and that leaves some specific muscle tension. And lots of people were saying like, oh my God, I have tension in my low back or my upper back, mostly in my neck. Like 80% of people, of adults, have the pain in their upper back. And they, firstly, before COVID, before the pandemic time, they were like, oh my God, I'm sitting in the wrong way. It's like I'm singing in the wrong way. It reminds me of that. But those people I'm working with, especially after pandemic times, they start to move around the world, work from their phone, and like, no, I'm not sitting. I'm not sitting. And I'm a dance coach. I'm not fucking sitting, and I still have the pain here. So that is the muscle trace, the body, like physical trace of our mental health thing. And singing itself is good. It's can like expand your thinking and words in your head, because we're thinking with words, with verbal thinking. Kids before 2-3 years old, under 3 years old, they didn't know how to think verbally. They just perceive the world in a different way, right? So that's why they're singing. And that's why when we accelerate them, like in schools and study and take more information in your head, they are, why are they yawning? And when they're yawning, they expand their throat, they open up their throat and contribute more air and inhale more. And actually, they tap from sympathetic mode while yawning to parasympathetic, from fight or flight mode of our autonomic nervous system to relaxation mode. And for executive to be in like alpha waves in parasympathetic mode after yawning, they have all inside, all the vision, how to like navigate the business, how to conduct the situation right now. So it's also proven. So lots of studies we need here. We need studies about our autonomic nervous system, about our vagus nerve, about mental health conditions, how they are entangled with our muscle tensions. Also, we need to, like, that's what I've been like reading, studying from medical people, from PhD. I have PhD neuroscientist here in Florida, and I'm just 4 hours talks between us. I mean, so you just want to know. We've been talking about inflammation, inflammatory process, right? Until we need to sleep, because we're researching about Alzheimer's. And if a person doesn't sleep well, or because during the day he's thinking, and while thinking we increase our inflammatory process. I'm like, really? Let's connect with what we do here. So whenever you are opening your throat, you are able to slow down your thinking. That means slow down inflammatory process in your body. So that's what I would love. I have my own studies, what I want to do, but the thing is to connect different studies from different fields, because this method doesn't require any medical drugs or specific I don't know, form of even physical activity. You just need to let in the air, which is everywhere. And we usually keep in the air here. That's the problem. And when we're singing, it's not the singing voice. We're not singing from here. We like let the universe in, and we let the universe out. That's how our speaking voice is changing. Because lots of people speak like this, right? Like this kind of like voice is like kind of, we are nervous, they're nervous, everybody's nervous around, and we are like spreading that atmosphere, right? So it's all about we keep in the air. We keep in the air? Because our throat is tense, like upper back, and all the tension is all entangled. So we need research from psychology to connect with endocrinology, to connect with neuroscience, with some trauma in post-traumatic syndrome, and with the ADD, and with the digestion, and with this, and when it's all crossed, and it's a little bit existing separately, what I figured out. So I'm talking every day like with some like or scientists or PhDs or like just doctors. Next week I will have an interview with neurologists from clinic, and I'm just, it's interesting to know. So like we're probably living in the era of some integrational approach. So that's what I'm trying to do. And if during I'm here living in a life, at least I will start to resystemize, restructure all the system of musical education. So I would be happy. I know that I cannot just like click it as lots of rules and culture in there. But this thing, singing in a certain way, opening our larynx, which is entangled with our anxiety, like the position of larynx is shaping your mental health, like really this part, this one. And whenever we are more accurate in what we do with our body while doing sound, making sound, we can change lots of things. Probably, yeah, there are some institutes there, they do not want us to do that, to be more free, to not buy drugs and whatever, but it's another question. So that's what I want to start. So we need kind of to cross lots of studies in between.
Mm-hmm. So how would you change musical education for children? You studied quite a lot in Russia, and you have multiple degrees, university degrees, and so forth. But it didn't help your voice, and so certainly there are some things that you would do differently for your education as you were growing up. But what about generally speaking, here, let's say in America, how would you like to see musical education change for kids?
You know, there is a huge problem of like some sort of violence in education and between the whole system. It's a general problem, and the problem is kids also, they do not come for to learn music shits. Like I will say that shortly. They they also want that liberation, like that freedom. They were born in it. Everything that kid is achieving while with like his baby, right under 2 years, 3 years old, he's getting through his voice. Like mom. So he gets all the signs through the sound of the voice, not from the words, through the voice. Verbal thinking doesn't mean a lot. Small baby cannot ask like breastfeeding from like verbal thing, right? But the voice and intonation, ups and downs, and like so there are articles about in videos, so you can find it even on YouTube, that different tone of voice of baby's voice, they mean different stuff. So when we are adults and we are communicating, only 7% is verbal communication. All other stuff we take from like muscles on our face, all other stuff we're expressing for the tone of voice. So again, if I'm talking like this, right? It's a firstly it's a color of voice. Next is like the speed. And if I'm like, or I'm speaking like this, I'm just talking like, So we are like we provide all the information from our guts, I don't know, like from subconscious level. And the thing is, our subconscious is entangled with smooth muscles. So there are certain types of muscles in our body, mostly two. So this one, external muscles like cross-stripped, you can direct it with your mind, conscious mind, and smooth muscles are entangled with our subconscious. So kids are connected with those inner muscles, especially babies. So that's why kids do not need lots of pressure to sing, for example, or to play musical instruments. So the later a kid is studying how to count or to think faster, the more creative executive we will have in the future. So if it's possible to eliminate a little bit of violence and also to play on the piano this note. People, kids, they don't need notes. Adults as well. I'm playing on the piano without notes now. So I can play by ear like any song you ask me right now. So it's very easy for me. And the thing is, to give kids a little bit more like self-expression in that without disciplines and musical thing. But the discipline, that's what we need to tap into society, right? So what we need to feel more, not to think more, especially now. Kids are only like laptops and actually iPads and phones, right? So they just contribute more information to hear. We need more, we are thinking or feeling. So to help kids to tap into sensations, to be friendly when we in the school when we just answering the question of the teacher, we're trying to say as much words and as faster as possible to accelerate ourselves and having good marks if we do it like fast and nobody cares what we feel. So I want to entangle music with body experience and from the childhood to help people to keep that connection with their feelings and sensations. Because some people, for example, abusive relationship for adults, if people would be connected with their feelings more, so they would feel that tension here, for sure they have it, and here. But if you feel and you connected with that tension, would you keep it? No, we have tension here just because we're not connected. So that's a little bit complicated question, actually. How exactly I would select first steps, but in that direction to keep the body-mind connection through the sound. Because when you even just singing and you like dance your throat, it doesn't help. The singing should be chanting through the like relaxed throat. That's the thing. That's why how you stimulate your nervous system.
Yeah. So one thing that comes to mind, I interviewed Janet Doman, who is an educator and expert on teaching babies how to read and how to play musical instruments and how to do math and so forth, like babies. She was a guest a couple years ago on the show. One thing I remember that really stuck out is stop trying to quiz or test your little kid. Assume that they're picking it up without them having to prove it to you, because that takes a lot of the pressure off then if you stop testing them. And so, just even saying, and what does that mean? Just cut that out of your vocabulary and just let them absorb it without pressure. And that seems like something that would be applicable here in this discussion around learning music. Also, I think that it's important for kids to see this as fun and a game, and not as something they have to be strictly disciplined for. Okay, you didn't do your homework, you didn't do your 30 minutes of piano practice or singing practice, and now you're grounded, or like, that's not fun. That's a chore. That's not something that is joyful. So adding joy back into the equation, I think, is really important.
Yeah, you're right, and it's an endless process of curiosity for a kid, right? And whenever you test, it means like in the school year, right? It's ended. So, and whenever kids, when they're babies, I think they don't have that sense of time and space how we adults have. So they just learning. They come from that infinity space from somewhere, and I remember there were some studies, probably mistaken, that only dolphins they have some sense of time as humans. Other animals, not that much. They're mostly connected with like night and daytime or something. I'm not sure about that, but I think that also that sense of time, whenever you're curious, but you should be curious until the test, and that you study until something that's you have the end, that's ending thing. It's probably also a big thing to think about. Musical education is not only, again, we think education is for kids, it's again and especially musical. But no, we're not growing up conductors only. We're growing up executives through the music. And it's actually proven that how much is 72% of Nobel Prize winners were studying classical music in their childhood. And to train your brain is a thing. I'm not a fan of classical music, just in case. Yes, I'm a conductor. Yes, my mom is a opera singer. But that was so huge part of my life and my childhood. So I'm singing with executives like Linkin Park, Adele, some rap, or like some hard music, some pop music, folk, country, jazz, especially jazz is good. That's why I've been singing. But it's easier food. It's just, especially pop music, is kind of fast food for our brain. And brain forgets how to build more complicated neural pathways. So if you want to, it's a research, if you want to create a bigger project, something which is complicated yet, we don't understand how we will do this. So we can switch our brain a little bit, listening to more complicated music as like classical, but not in Audi classical, more which is hard to digest mentally. And when you like start to listen to this, it's kind of you're starting to eat healthier, like more, and like your body digesting fiber and does some work, and it's interesting. So you can a little bit like change your mind. It's interesting research. If you just search for it, you can probably find it.
So, could you give us a, an example or two of exercises that you would do with, let's say, a CEO or an executive to improve their effectiveness and happiness and leadership abilities and all that? What's an exercise that would be helpful for a CEO?
It's a good one. First thing, sometimes when it's intense time for them, I ask him not to sit on their like desk, table, like where they do Zoom meetings. Go and lay on the couch. They're like, what? Probably stand, like open your shoulder, posture, like how like music education, like you should be doing that. Yeah, like go lay down. Like really? And the body position can be different. Of course, it's good to sing with straight back and everything, but people are only tensed for all the day. And so the first exercise is usually checking how they let the air inside of their body. For to let air inside of our body, like really let, we should drop our jaw as well. I'm doing like what is nice there. So it's not exercise, it's like tricks. I would call it like this. No exercises. No, like oh, no, like, I'm done, and they didn't want it. They said, please. Some of them even trying to take some voice coaching, like they didn't want it. So tricks like, for example, to find anatomical trains between our jaw and our pelvic floor, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, and asking them to drop their jaw. And sometimes they realize they actually can't relax, like trying to massage it, but it doesn't help. Only our attention can help it. It's like 3 seconds exercise. We tried several times. And when they really drop in it, they notice like, oh my God, why the colors in my room are brighter? So it's like they are switching from the stress mode. And it's all entangled with this. When we drop in jaw, we drop in the larynx. When we drop in the larynx, we let go of all anxiety. So it's hour in the week, 1 hour, when they're like anxiety-free hour. And especially kids, they notice that. So I remember the Bay Area, one girl, oh, thank you for making my father happier. And you're like, what do you mean? My dad was in depression. I mean, and now he's happy, always singing everywhere whenever he has tension. She was 10 years old kid at that point. So this thing. Or when we just picking up some song, we never sing the song like the whole one. It's a torture because when you're singing the whole song, your brain does we counted 22 tasks. Remembering lyrics. Oh my God. So I'm working now on the app which can help to do this type of work. Like trying to remember lyrics, it's one task. It's all verbal. It's verbal thinking. Also, how do I see it? Is my posture right? The melody line. Oh my God, what is next? How does she also comparing myself with an artist? Something else, tapping into right pitch and you can, and also probably if you do that right, you also want to focus on your throat, on your tongue, on your resonating areas, enunciation. Oh my God, you want to quit right away, right? So we just take in only one phrase. We call it one sound methodology. Only one phrase. If you're not able to perform the one phrase, you are able to perform only one word. If you're not able to perform only one word, you can perform the part of the word. Like, for example, it's my life. If you cannot perform this, you can perform life. Life, and everybody can. So we take this small part, we breathe lots of air inside, increasing the air pressure, and wow, that happens. The sound is completely different, but only on the part. What way you can do the part, you can do the big thing. That's all executives know that because that's how they execute their companies. Small steps here and there, then delegate them, and you build a big thing, but all in small pieces. So we do this. They experience the different version of themselves. They're super happy. And the task is different. The task is to feel freedom here, not to perform the song. Nobody comes to perform the song. Everybody comes for freedom. So I'm giving them, they actually giving themselves what they want. Now they do 2 words, 3 words. Oh my God. And they experience that alpha waves. And actually they become playful. They start to move and zoom. They get up from the couch if they've been laying. Oh, can I walk? I'm like, and they grab so much of energy. When the air doesn't go through the body, we do some neck exercises, opening the neck, actually opening the throat, connecting that the pelvic floor. But it's very different for each of them. It's super individual. So that all about several layers of techniques. Sometimes we're even not singing. We can work with the speech voice. But that's all is entangled with this muscle, this group of muscles, diaphragm, and also some exercises for better sleep, and you're really expanding some muscles in your belly. It's just all about attention. It's kind of attention and focus exercises. After that, they have wild focus for their work. Oh my God, I will do so many meetings. Something like this. It's hard to explain because it's not like a pill. You should like really focus. Like good meditation, you work with the focus, not just like relaxing, right?
So you mentioned sleep, and I'd love to have our listener learn one of your exercises for improving their sleep and getting more into parasympathetic. So you just did something where you were breathing in a few times quickly without breathing out. Can you walk us through that more slowly
Yeah, yeah.
or more step by step?
That's the thing with the sleep. I've been fighting myself. I couldn't sleep until 8 a.m. I remember even like I had some thoughts in my head, some anxiety. It's not like, guys, I'm from musical family, singing from childhood, always happy. I experienced all of that, so highly, I'm kind of accepting people so much. They kind of feel and they spread it to themselves. So they're trying to trick themselves like this. And when they go to sleep, they have like a spinning mind. We say like, washing machine is still washing, everything is clean, but it's washing. So you did your job, you like fed your family, you did the exercise, or something, still spinning. Whenever we're thinking a lot, and I told about the connection with inflammatory process, I'm not a scientist, so don't judge too much, but I know some connections. All I have is my experience with like human bodies. They just come to me with like voice thing. I'm not a doctor or a medical person, but still. When we think a lot, we have tension here. So also night guards help if you guys not able to do what I will offer you. So there's a mechanical way to like eliminate this. Night guards is special things you put like place on your teeth, not to chew in the night. Why are we chewing or clenching our jaw? It's a sign that we're trying to control the reality, to seize the reality. Sometimes we're not in trust to what's going on in our life. It's a big psychological question. We will not discuss it like right away, but there are certain reasons for those muscle activity here and here, and it all, of course, connected with our back. So our muscles are tensed, but the reason of tensed muscles, as I told, is spinning mind. Is a thing which is should be like this when you're going to sleep and waking up, right? But it's still lots of fun, lots of thoughts. And whenever you start not from thoughts, you're tired actually, you're exhausted, your nervous system is exhausted. You should switch, but it cannot. Like kids sleep right away, right? And nobody can just stop. Humans, they wake up from every small sound and like dark mask on your like eyes, sleeping mask, because the light is everything disturbing us. We are like nervous, I don't know. And we are, and kids are sleeping like sometimes you probably noticed they just relax. So we cannot slow down here, but we can start from the other end, from the body. So you can do right away. It doesn't mean you will sleep right away, but you relax. So we can do it right now with us. 3 inhales like, yeah, and supposedly it's better, or you open your throat and mouth, or at least opening your teeth inside of your mouth. There are certain people they do not feel comfortable if nervous system is exhausted. Sometimes you feel you can experience dry mouth. Also happens when people like drinking. They try drinking as cold water as possible. I know some people, and you can breathe through your nose as well, but you should like open your teeth inside. So, and relaxing your face. And if it doesn't work right away, you can continue to breathe through the nose, not through the mouth, too, because you probably pass out like in 1 minute. But you continuously doing this, not just breathing in and out. You're stimulating your like stomach muscles, your belly muscles to let the air inside. There is certain sign of your switch from stress and fight or flight mode. Your belly starts to breathe. Whenever you're stressed out, your muscles tensed, like inside of your belly and outside and everywhere, and the pelvic floor and everything. So when you do this, you're letting go all the lower part of your body, of your torso. So, and it's all entangled with your jaw. If you do not let the jaw drop, you cannot relax. And probably you will have some resistance. If you want to continue to think, really want to think your thoughts, you cannot release your jaw. It's very funny. So,
Yeah, I think I tense my jaw a lot. And I know that I grind and clench my teeth at night while I'm sleeping. So I do wear a retainer. So thankfully that keeps my teeth from getting ground down while I'm sleeping.
it helped me personally. Again, me, it helped me a lot. Now I'm sleeping as a baby. So getting up refreshed and like passing out like 30 seconds and that's it. I don't have to even exercises. So it doesn't mean you do exercises always, but you do like 1, 2, 3 days, 5 week. Then your brain learned from what you do in your body. It has signals. It has signals. So your body sends signals. I'm coming out from the stress, and you eliminate those marks of stress tracing in your body. Also, whenever you relax your jaw, your bloodstream and lymph stream goes through. So no cold, no flu, no like coughing. And can you imagine if you have tension in your body? So lymph and all the like fluids in your body, they stuck, and cerebrospinal fluid, like lots of scientific things there. I'm afraid to mention a lot because probably I'm speaking my like musical language a little bit, and some guys can argue with me about facts, but you can feel it. So nothing wrong if you relax your jaw, believe me. But probably you feel like, I don't want to relax. Like negotiate with yourself, like commit with yourself. And you guys will feel that your belly starts to breathe right away. And do it just continuously until you pass out. If you will really do this, 1, 2 minutes, you're done. You will remember it in the morning. Oh, I passed out. So it can, if you will do it, you will definitely leads to, you will switch your sympathetic mode to parasympathetic. The problem is talking in parasympathetic, and it's in also all of the society. It's always like this. One of things. It's one of the tricks.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to try that. And my wife Orion also sometimes her mind is racing too, and she's not able to fall asleep. So I'll tell her about this exercise. Awesome.
Give me feedback then.
Yeah. Awesome. And then if our listener wants to work with you and learn your voice biohacking method, take your online courses, like, can you explain how that works and where they would find that?
Yeah, I'm a little bit spoiled with. I always had students and in Europe and everywhere, traveled a lot. So um, I'm having my big rush on Instagram, for example, and I'm running my educational programs there. And in English, I'm just starting to create that. So I'm working on my platform, and probably in 1, 2 months, I will create some educational program in English, like really short one. Sometimes you can see on my Instagram, my small American Instagram, I'm not really running it a lot. So I'm not used to make some promotion. And I'm sorry about that. I have to, I have started everything from the scratch in another country. But sometimes I initiate that I do free voice diagnostics because I want to train myself in terms of like to understand some specific problems in like different countries and here in different states. So I'm interested in that. And to train myself before TED Talks and keynotes and conferences. Next Biohack Congress, I'm having a lecture there next autumn, so I have to get ready, and I want to like a little bit collect data, collect some experience. So usually 2 slots a month. I have slots for free diagnostics, and I'm running some workshops. And my online programs will be probably coming soon. For now, short ones, because I created around 70 different offline and online programs, and I'm still running those. So lots of students, like yesterday, I had 4 Zooms for those programs, and people all around the world, but mostly like Russian speaking or sometimes guys from Europe. So I'm still on my way there, and I have to work on my songs and helping guys who are like in my individual thing to release their songs. So I'm kind of not promoting a lot, but you can find me on Juliana Voice Method on Instagram. It's my small American page, or just Juliana Voice. So bright, it's my Russian page, but I respond there. And you can ask if any free diagnostics are available right now. And for your listeners, Stephan, guys, you can mention the name of the podcast, and I will give you a short voice session for mental health or productivity, or just for some even voice experience, whatever your request is. Sometimes it's really different, but it's all connected. So like specifically for Stephan, for probably like 2-3 people per month I can take for that small session. And for sure, Stephan, and I think it will help many people.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. That's very generous of you. And do let us know when you launch your English courses so that we can include that in the show notes when it's available. Because of course, this episode will be live on my site for a very long time, not just the week that this episode airs. So, yep. And one of our listeners might want to hire you as their private coach, or voice biohacking expert to work with them one-on-one, and pay you handsomely to do it. So well,
Yeah, that's nice. I'm not working a lot like one-on-one. Sometimes like I'm helping though, like the most complex things, I pick them out and help them. Also, I have 10 teachers in my academy. They have a little bit more time because I'm working on the platform and app. So I'm trying to tap into scaling. And whenever I see the case is super interesting or super entangled or nobody can solve it, I'm like, I'm in. I mean, I solved everything. Yep, like all the people who've been arriving, I helped everyone. So everybody with the result, everybody can sing, and everybody can have their like even musical problems. They can solve it.
have you ever solved a stutter for somebody?
Yes, 6 cases. I didn't mention. And that girl, she's singing musicals now. She was 19 years old. And started with her. She doesn't even remember. Her parents say that she was 4 or 5 years old. So I'm having 2 music videos. Probably I should share it somewhere. Actually, I created my website, voicebiohacking.com. I would probably place it there. Need something before I'm getting ready with my platform. I have to have something like just. It seems weird. People are like high achieving. They try to promote themselves, and I'm like, I'm just sitting. I mean, I created everything like 10 years ago, and like to start again those small steps. I mean, it's kind of a little bit. So it sounds silly for me, but it still is. But voicebiohacking.com, I will place there those music videos. How that girl with stuttering, she's been a little bit stuttering yet, like. When we stop in our sessions, after 2 months, she starts to stuttering a little bit again. But then we sing again and she's good. Also was hard. There was a hard case with the girl was doing Botox here, and she was a speaker and trainer for a big company, like hairstyling company. I've been working with B2B also a lot with big companies. Also, there were kids with stuttering. We eliminated it completely, so it helps a lot. And they describe it like that they have a tube and it like kind of opens and they're having like kind of orgasmic feeling of like life flows through them. So they are super bright how they describe it. So it's amazing. Many things more. I didn't tell about medical stuff, but I didn't want to like do that specific small thing because I want everybody to like increase their to heal themselves, to try it. I mean, I've been doing that for myself. I heal myself. So I want everybody to try for their own purposes, for even relationship, for mental health, and not only for medical reasons. And I haven't doctors. They work in my method in Berlin in clinic, for example, physiotherapists and endocrinologists. Doctors are also working with that. So I believe we can be more kind to ourselves, more mentally healthy. And thank you, Stephan, for what you're doing, inviting different people to expand our perception. It helps us to a little bit love ourselves more and to heal ourselves more. Thank you for that, for having me here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time and sharing your wisdom and your experience and your journey. And yeah, keep shining your light in the world. That's awesome.
That's really was it was hard actually. I've been trying to get through it for 15 years. You guys can do it faster. Okay.
Thank you. And thank you, listener. Go out there and make it a great week. We'll catch you on the next episode. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.